Hello everybody, I am Hacklebeast, and this is the continuation of the Gambit Cup All-Star Weekend lineup. It was such an awesome series that it could not be shown. It needed like a week to gestate for the replays to comprehend exactly how awesome they were. Boom. His PC couldn't even handle it, man. Just how good these games are going to be. Anyway, so I do have replays of Kolll versus Terror this week, and I will be casting them before casting IFC versus Cass coming up next. But I'm really excited for this series. It's going to be a best of 3, and the winner gets $30 if I remember correctly. These two players are a particularly interesting set of two players to put against each other. They had a bit of a history going back through individual leagues, and they've been pretty consistently trading games off of each other. But just looking at it as a matter of play style, you have Terror. Oh, I mixed up the colors. My bad. You have Terror, who is inarguably the most aggressive Terran that the foreigner community has. I don't think anybody's going to argue against that. Terror is really aggressive in every matchup. And on the other side, you have Kolll, who is the most aggressive Zerg the foreigner community has, who is not off Zerg, obviously. But I mean, both players play this matchup as cheesy as possible without it actually being cheesy. Because Kolll, obviously famous for his two-hack mutalist, and if you're going to be more aggressive than two-hack mutalist, then you're pretty much doing like two-hack lurker drop, and that's cheese. Alternatively, Terror likes to go for the 4-racks or a 5-rack. Pretty much the only thing more aggressive than a 4-rack or a 5-rack involves building a bunker in your opponent's natural. So, I'm excited to see a 4-rack versus 2-hack mutalist micro battle between these two players, and it should be good. Anyway, Kolll going for his standard 12-hack, 12 hacks to start off, as we would expect. And Terror has not quite thrown down his command center yet, having a little bit of trouble getting rid of the drone, but Marines can chase that away. Problems with the stream? No. Alright, only one dude has problems with the stream. Aha! Speaking of the stream, I recently, to put simply, rebuilt the connection for my internet. So I'm actually running with a better internet, and I upped a little bit of the settings and still made it so it's coming out a little bit smoother. So in fact, it should be an even better quality than I have ever done before. And I'm excited for that, man. Anyway, so we now have, Terror throwing down the second barrack, getting his gas, will almost certainly be for the upgrades towards his Marines and for medics. Gotta get at least one of the stim or range before the mutalist pop. In most situations, it's stim. But some players have decided to go for range to combat a 2-hack mutalist build. It's usually not seen as quite as good, because if you're using the stim correctly, you're going to be able to do a lot more damage. You're going to be able to catch the mutalist in awkward positions. But if you go for range, you don't need to have quite as good Marine micro. They don't need to be as close to the mutalist to stop firing, so you don't need to be moving them around quite as much. There are advantages to it, but it's not common. Meanwhile, Terror is making his making a good host of Marines to start out with. It's a big enough number that when Kolll scouts it, he will probably throw down at least one Sunken, because this kind of force with just a few medics is enough to at least scare a Zerg a bit, especially one in Kolll's position who can't afford to use larva towards Zerglings at this point in the game. Or any more than the initial 6 or 8, is what I mean. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Also considering just how aggressive of a player Terror is. Interesting, going for two firebacks instead of 2 extra medics. Now it's not uncommon to go for 1 extra fireback because firebacks have a little bit extra health, have that 1 point of armor, and allows them to survive against Sunken a little bit better. But going for 2 additional he's going to leave 1 of his firebacks home to defend against the Zergling backstab. Nice decision, and it looks like it's going to pay off really well. This is exactly what Terror was fearing, and now Terror is going to be able to hold that off really easily. But the Zerglings still might be able to do some damage. They're not even going to get 1? Wow, they don't even pick off 1 SCV. Terror is knowing exactly how to play against this whole style. Very impressive for him, and now the Marines are coming in. Cole has 2 Sunken colonies, 1 of them still working, but they're not even in the best of positions. And Cole, very nice move. Target firing the medic, gets it down to 1 hit, and yes, he target fires it with both Sunkens. And because Terror only built 2 medics and had 1 of them stay home, as soon as that medic was dead, there was nothing else to kill the Marines, and they fell rather quickly. Very nice move by Cole there to target fire the medic, good heads-up play, and now it's going to be Cole's turn to try to do a little bit of damage. Terror wasted a lot of his Marines and didn't get any damage in return, so defending against these Mutalisks will be rather difficult. Stim is done. Range is not done, though he's still not getting range. He doesn't quite have the money for it. He needs to use all of his minerals at the moment, building more turrets. And here come the Mutalisks now. This turret is going to be able to finish. Cole tried to smash, but not only clicked on the wrong SCVs, but didn't kill it to begin with. So, Terror so far, starting to rebuild his Marine count, doing a pretty good job. Nice turret placement is keeping the Mutalisks at bay. And this is a very nice turret placement. I like it a lot. There aren't really many holes for the Mutalisks to sneak into the back of the turret wall that he's trying to form. Sometimes Terrans get a little bit carried away with their super fancy turret placement, and then all of a sudden there are big holes back here, for example. But it's going to be hard for the Mutalisks to get back there because there isn't a big gap between the turrets. This is essentially the only one, but it has to fly over the Marines. But Terror has all the major things covered. Main mineral line, natural mineral line, barracks, and the ramp. So, it looks like Terror is going to be just fine. Now, Cole is, yes, he's going to follow it up with the very fast, the very fast hive, as per German style. I say that because Baki is also a fan of getting a very fast hive, but with far less aggression than this. And it does make you vulnerable to some extent because you don't have the raw unit power that Zergs typically like to have. But it does mean that you're going to have those defilers out very quickly, and fast defilers can really throw some wrenches into some Terran plans if that's not what you're necessarily expecting. And it looks like that's not what Terra's expecting. If he's throwing down more barracks, he doesn't even have a factory down yet. He's just barely started the factory. So he's not thinking about defiler prevention at the moment, and fast defilers might be able to catch him off guard. But here comes Terror again for attack number 2. This is not enough Mutalisks to do a good amount of damage. Might be able to pick off Marines around the fringe. Most players, I would say not. But Cole, he's going to be able to pick off some if that's what he wants to do. Here the Mutalisks in here stopping the factory. This is really critical to stop. If he's able to continuously stop production of the factory, even just those 3 seconds can be the difference in some games. Depending on how long it takes to get that science vessel or that tank out, depending on which one he's going for. Now, lurkers are out, so Cole's main will be secure, and he does have lurkers as his natural. So Terra's probably not going to be able to do much damage with either of these forces. He's sending out just a little bit of a scouting party. Not going to quite get all the way? Nah. Probably, he's going to scan it. Doesn't need to leave those Marines. Ooh. Cole not only going for the Defiler Mound, but also getting the Greater Spire. Now, where are his Mutalisks hiding? They're up here. That would be a very risky place to do it if he was to make Guardians, but no, he's not getting into the position quite yet to make the Guardians. He still has some time. on Sniper Ridge, I haven't even mentioned the name of the map yet. On Sniper Ridge, it's not really a good position to be putting the Guardians there, just because they have to fly so far to be able to attack anything that they're going to be very vulnerable to submarines. This is going to be a much stronger space, but you don't exactly have a lot of things you can hit. The mineral line isn't flush against the cliff. It's at a perpendicular. Oh, there's a gas wolf right there. So, I'm not sure Guardians are the best of options on this map, but Kolll is a fan of Guardians. He does go for that a lot. So, if anybody's going to be able to do some damage with it, it's going to be him. The greatest fire has now completed, and yes, the Mutalisks are hiding behind this cliff. They're going to be able to range all this stuff. But the double starports means that raids are on the way. There's not even enough room for the science facility, or for the control tower, excuse me, so there's nothing else that can be built from that one. And those raids are going to stick on the Guardians very quickly. I think Terror's really done some studying on his opponent here, because he's doing a lot of things that a Terran wouldn't normally do. Keeping the fire bat and the medic on the land. Building 2 starports, the timings with some other things that, you wouldn't do against a normal opponent. But since it's Kolll, it's going to work out very well for him. Let's see how much damage these Guardians can do before the race. Well, first race already out. 2 more on the way. So I don't think they're going to be able to do much more other than still building. And that's going to be a lot of gas used up for Kolll, which is rather precious at this point in the game, considering he's only on 3 bases. It's 100 gas per, and I think there are 5 Guardians total. Maybe only 4. Here come the next 2 races. So the Guardians will only manage to kill a couple turrets in a refinery. Sturge come out. They would have been able to take out 1 race, but 3 races, a little bit too much for them. So, Kolll did throw down the double evolution chambers. He skipped on getting an earlier evolution chamber just because he was going for hive so quickly. But he's going to be starting to catch up with the upgrades. How is Terror's upgrade situation looking like? Almost finished the armor upgrade. Does that mean 1-1? Yes, it does. 1-1 almost done. Terror not doing anything super fancy with his upgrades. Just going with the standard timing for those. Ooh. Terror getting a little bit careless with his Marines. He's going to lose about 5 of them for free. He's not going to be able to penetrate this base because while Terror has been countering Kolll's stuff very well so far, he still doesn't have siege tanks, he doesn't have science vessels. Oh, he's going to be able to get both of them? Nice! Sniping both of the lurkers and the 2 Zerglings. There's still 1 lurker left, but still, didn't leave anything in that. Bit of a mistake from Kolll. Now, Terror's not able to do anything until he gets the siege tanks or science vessels. And he has 2 siege tanks out now. Siege mode, siege mode must have already been used. But he's going into a mech transition now. 2 factories here, 1 factory here. So he'll be able to get the siege tanks out soon, but at this point in the game, he really just doesn't have enough to be able to be aggressive at either of Koll's 2 centers for expansion. This is just kind of funny how far forward the starport was. He built the starport here so that he could, get to the Guardians quicker, but there's just no other place to put the control tower down all the way out here. It's just kind of funny. Anyway, looking at the supply, we have 83 supplies from Kolll compared to 137 for Terror. And that just shows that everything Koll's done this game really hasn't worked out, combined with he went for a strategy that involves not having a lot of units. And you need to be very, very cost effective with the units when you go for this style, because you don't have just massive amounts of Zerglings and Lurkers to casually throw away. Now, the pilot does get irradiated. Plague going down, missing both of the tanks. Where that Plague was, it looks like he wanted to get the sweet spot where he hits both of them, but he got the sweet spot where he misses both of them. It's unfortunate, but still hit a lot of Marines, so a successful plague overall. And now that the swarm's off, the lurkers is going to go down. So, Terror splitting out the barracks is trying to get a scout off. And, ooh, Terror has had this army here a while. And it looks as if he was planning on attacking, but then just didn't. But he's keeping it here, waiting for the reinforcements to pop out. And it looks like did a little bit of damage, but Dark Swarm and Slade combination didn't be able to take care of that very quickly. Now, Terror still hasn't quite finished his mech transition. He does have 5 factories out, but he's not making anything out of them quite yet. He's still building Marines. He floated out 3 of his barracks, but kept 3 of them behind. Kolll being very plague happy this game. That's the 3rd plague we've seen already. Interesting. A 6th factory going down now. Excuse me. Now Terror's going to move into his comfort zone. Terror's favorite unit is the Vulture in the PvP and PvP matchup. He's a player who likes to get a skewed amount of Vultures. And he always has more points than Vultures, always has fewer machine shots on the factories, but he just wants to be constant aggression with them. And in PvZ, however, he doesn't open that. He goes bio at first, but once he gets to this stage of the game, he can now start to switch into the Vultures and do the exact same thing he does versus Terran and Protoss. Laying mines everywhere, trying to find openings. And against a Zerg player, who has more bases than a Terran or Protoss opponent would, it's a lot harder to defend against the Vulture craft sometimes. Kolll, as his Ultralist scout, has very nice updates for his Ultralist as well. 2-4. So looking pretty scary, considering that Terror still doesn't have the largest amount of siege tank numbers he's ever seen. 4 up here, and then I imagine a couple over here, yeah. You want to have siege tanks over here, and that's why you actually built these factories over here, so that you have a high ground to defend. And if this base gets sieged, to be able to hold up there and not require additional reinforcements. You can just keep making them there. Ooh. Science vessel. No. Man, he's the last one. Very nice. Alright. Kolll with a lot of Ultralists now, actually. That's 9 Ultralists, I think I counted? 9 Ultralists, and Terror does not have a huge army to defend against this. He's actually rather fragmented with his army, as opposed to most PvP games where Terror tries to keep their forces more consolidated. So I don't know how he's going to stop all these speed Ultralists with 2-4 upgrades. I don't think that mine hit. That would have been a very nice mine, hitting like 5 Ultralists. But now that this has gone down, the Ultralists are going to have to run through this minefield, and that's going to help out a lot. I think with the help of the minefield, it's going to be enough to deflect this attack. Well, yep. This should be enough defense on the high ground that, with the help of those minefield alerts, that can be held off. But maybe not. Maybe not. Kolll is going to be able to break up this, and taking out 4 siege tanks is nice. And let's see what kind of damage can be done beyond this. The Ultralists do not have much health left, so the next siege tank that gets killed might be able to kill him off with some micro. Certainly this one. It's only 1 shot away. Oh, a radio going down. So yes, that siege tank, if it pops out, will be able to kill the final Ultralist, but now, excuse me. Kolll with a semi-hidden expansion here, in that Terror hasn't found it yet, but a nice canal going down, so we'll be able to be somewhat defensive at least. Whenever Terror discovers it. And, oh man. Terror can't get the big ball of meth yet. He's losing bits and pieces of his bolsters to harass. And he's occasionally losing his, and Cole's doing engagements like this, with just a handful of mech units. And mech is not scary in this scenario. It's actually very difficult for Terror to get anything moving until he reaches that critical amount. Cole with an interesting army composition, in that there is no composition, it's just ultimate. Rather peculiar. I mean, he is banking a good amount of gas, up 1,500 compared to the minerals. But normally, well, I guess in this situation, when your opponent's going mech and not huge amounts of mech, just fragmented, also looks like this are going to be pretty effective. Anyway, more reinforcements coming in from both players. They're actually going to meet up outside the base. And, SCV transfer, but Cole doesn't have anything to punish the SCV transfer, unfortunately. But Cole does win the engagement outside the base, so these SCVs are not safe. And GG from Terror. Wow. Very nice game played from Cole. Terror had a strategy picked out specifically to counter what Cole was doing. And he knew and he predicted it right. But Cole just continuing to do it, preventing Terror from amassing a huge mech ball. It's going to be enough to win game one. Very nice. Alright. Moving into game number 2. Excuse me. On Outlier. I just noticed that Outlier in the map name is one word. But everything that... Oh... That was a canceled edge. Cole's going for a pool, man. Oh, Cole. This is kind of funny, man. It's like, he started the game and he's just like so instinctive about how to split his drones and then make a new one and then send the Overlord out to scout to do it as fast as possible. But he does it and then realizes, oh wait, I actually didn't want an edge. Oops. Well, Cole's gonna 4-pool. The last time I saw Cole 4-pool, he 4-pooled versus Sale, and he lost in a hilariously bad game. So, while he is going to scout in the right direction, I can't say that I'm a fan of Cole's 4-pool. Well, we'll see. I'm gonna have just enough money to make this patch of Zerglings. Now, Terror did build his barracks inside his base. That's good. If he had built it outside of his base, I'd say he's in a lot of trouble. But I think this build's gonna be rather difficult to hold off. Ooh, Terror going for a much faster. Gas system. That is not going to help him. If he had done the same build he done last game, he would have had a better shot. Although not very significant, as the barracks wouldn't have been able to finish. Now, Cole doesn't quite know where his opponent is yet. Actually, he figured it out when he saw this SCV. The Overlord is just now reaching it. And this SCV did see the Zerglings come in, so he's pulling a bunch. The Marine still has a little bit of time before it comes out. I don't... Terror's trying to do some fancy pushing here, but it's not working out at all. He does buy enough time for the Marine to get out and for the bunker to get down, but he does sacrifice a lot of SCVs to do it. But that's okay. Typically, it doesn't matter how many SCVs you sacrifice if you manage to survive the 4 pool, so we'll see, man. First... Oh, get the Marine in the bunker! Get the Marine in the bunker! Alright, Marines in the bunker. We'll see, man. This barracks needs to be lifted. Unless he's going to... no, he's going to have the SCV repaired to get more Marines out. And it looks like Terror's going to survive. I mean, there's still some Zerglings over there. But it would appear that Terror is not going to die. What's Cole's follow-up to this? He's droned up, yep, he's running up behind this. He's up to, what is this, 8? With this one, I think? If I counted correctly? Up to 8 drones, compared to, it's really hard to tell because all the SCVs are stacked on 4 passes for Terror. I could probably just count it this way. 16 minus 5 supply is 11. So 11 SCVs compared to 13 minus 4, or 12 minus 4 is 8. So 11 versus 8. Taylor with a little bit of an SCV lead. Which, a little bit of an SCV lead at this point in the game is really big. So, Cole needs to figure out something. I don't know what he's going to do, but he needs to do something. Anyway. Cole throwing down his factory and getting his extractor. So it looks like Cole's going to transition into essentially a very delayed 9 pool. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Seahawk Needless behind this, because that's what Cole does. But the final 2 Zerglings looks like they're going to be killed right here. I don't see how they're going to get away from this. Oh, is that tight? Apparently that's tight. That's weird. Anyway. So, final Zerglings do go down. That is the official end to the pressure. And, oh, Terror, you sneaky... Oh man, Terror's going for proxy vultures. Oh man, there's no way Cole's gonna build sunken colonies. He has units in position to look for when the Marines are moving out, so he'll know when he needs to tear them down, but he's not prepared for proxy vultures. Here we go. How good is Terror's micro? If he loses his vulture to these slowlings, that would be horrible, but there's no reason he should. Cole GG's not even going to bother to play it out. Moving on to game number 3, man. Cole. I'm just going to assume that Cole 4-pooled because he really hates that map. Because Outlier's kind of a funky map. And Cole's been around for a while. Sometimes those older players don't like to learn new maps. I'm just going to assume that that's what was going on there. Because Cole 4 pools is kind of ugly. It tend to not work out. But, moving on to game number 3. And I would say that this map is quite good for 2-hack needless. We are on chain reaction. On the right side we have Cole. On the left side we have Terror. And, well, I say it's not good for Cole because obviously the air distance is the smallest of any used map nowadays. But at the same time, there's a lot of opportunities for proxies on this map, and Terror has been one to throw down a proxy factory every now and then, as we saw last year. If you were going to do it, this would be kind of the map to do it on. There are even a lot of opportunities to glitch vultures through mineral patches, either using the mine trick or using the mining trick with the SCV. So, I would not be surprised at all if you go to do that this game. Anyway, looks like Terror is going to go for fast expansion now. Already building a supply depot out, excuse me, out after the natural, and getting SUV. Did I spell Cole's name wrong? Oh, should I capitalize it? I can capitalize it. I mean, I could also do it that way, really. But Cole's been running with weird names so long that it's almost to a point where it's like, well, how did Cole capitalize his name 4 months ago? It's not. It starts to get to the point where it's like, yeah, I can't remember if the K was capitalized at one point or not. What? That's a really off-place command center? Alright. I guess he really just did not want to deal with the drone at all. Terror went 14 CC. Interesting. Alright, so 14 CC, and it's an off-place command center, which doesn't matter for Terror, because you can just lift it and place it there, but that does take a bit of time. Well, he's not going to have a huge number of Marines in the beginning, and that helps out a lot against 2-Rack Mutalisks. We don't know for sure if Cole's going for 2-Rack Mutalisks, but we kind of know for sure if Cole is going for 2-Rack Mutalisks. A peculiar decision. So, Lair has started from Cole. Again. I would imagine that Cole's not going to bother to build too many Zerglings. There's already a wall up, and I don't think in a different scenario, he could build a lot of Zerglings and try to break it, knowing that Terra doesn't have many Marines behind it. But he'd have to build so many Zerglings that he would be delaying his Mutalisks, just based on the larva numbers. So I don't think, so I think Cole's going to go the opposite direction of it and build far fewer Zerglings than normal. And it looks like that's what he's doing. Yeah, just 4. Meanwhile, Terror's going for it too fast. Interesting. Alright, he's going to be able to get out those vultures very quickly. And going for very fast vultures versus Mutalisks is kind of a weird matchup. Because in one regard, Mutalisks kill vultures, and there's nothing vultures can do about it. But at the same time, vultures in a weird way kind of counter Mutalisks, because the Mutalisks aren't able to keep up with the vultures very well, and you're going to be delaying the Mutalisks because they have to stay in their own base trying to chase vultures down. So if microed correctly, the vultures can actually be really effective against units they can't shoot. Which makes no sense saying it out loud, but that's just the way it is. And that's why StarCraft is awesome, man. Ooh, a third factory. And the armory going down early. Now, the early armory is going to be going down for Goliath. Because he knows that's what Cole likes to do, get the fast Mutalisks. Spire just anything now. Does Cole not have a full round? He just made an Overlord here. Ah, pretty good timing with that one, just a little bit late. Excuse me. So, it looks like Taylor's not going to be going for vultures. By spending armor, he's going to go for Goliath. Interesting, man. He's going to go mass Goliath versus Zerg. And Goliaths are kind of good versus Mutalisks, and they're pretty good versus Zerglings. They're terrible versus Lurkers, but Terror's not going to be able to build many Lurkers because he's using all the Yes and Duelists, and most likely an early high. We'll see. How close is the range up to still a little bit of ways to go, so the Goliaths are actually pretty bad versus Duelists at this point. Such limited range and being rather clunky compared to the Marines. Not to mention they don't do much damage to begin with. So Terror needs to wait until that finishes. Still has a little bit more time. The Colts can still do a significant amount. Terror cut a lot of his turret production because he knew he was going Goliath. And Colt's actually just going to go and attack. Interesting. Just engaging the Goliath head on, and Terror didn't bring SCVs to repair because he thought he just had enough Goliath. Maybe he does. Yes, with another round of Goliath, Cole's going to back off a little bit and try to re-micro. If you notice the Parasturgeon there, that's because Cole misclicked. And accidentally built that one pair, and there's nothing else to do with it, so they might as well just kind of hope that they tank the stop for him. Another factory going down. Well, once Terror gets a few more Goliaths, around 8, it's supposed to be really hard for the Mutalists to do anything. Goliath has just such long range that they can defend pretty well. And not only defend the mineral lines, but defend each other, so you can't pick them off as good as you can from Marines. And you really don't want to be engaging a Goliath head on. Especially not with these numbers. But Cole does have very nice Mutalist micros, so I would imagine he can pick off a lot of the things lying around. And this map is much better for Guardians. So we might be seeing that from Cole. He's building more Mutalists this game than he did in his first game. In his first game, he stuck with basically the initial 6. And then only lost one of them, turned him into 5 Guardians. But in this game, he's made up to a full control group. Now, getting the Hydralisk is Lurker. No, not a Lurker upgrade. Going for the Hydralisk speed. Hydralisks are rather effective versus Goliath, but are very ineffective versus Goliath and 2 siege tanks in back. But if Cole's able to snipe the siege tanks, like this one, and keep the number down to 1, maybe 2, a Hydralisk plus can be very effective against this kind of strategy from Terror. That's not good though. Don't use me to go like that. I'm one of the fast as these Terror not go for the fast +1. Normally, oh, do we already have +1? No, going for +1 armor first. Interesting. Now, +1 armor is better versus Mutalisk, as the attack is +2 for Goliath, for Goliath Air. But the Mutalisk takes half damage, so it doesn't quite work like that. Not to mention that Mutalisk armor is applied twice if that's what Cole goes for. You can get, if you go for armor, it's the same thing as Terror-face armor in GGZ. It works better with the Mutalisk because the Mutalisk has 3 attacks. But it's still a peculiar decision because the attack will help you later in the game. A lot more than the armor will. The armor is really just there for when the Mutalisks are attacking. But Cole has a good number of Hydralisks out. Has he finished his other Hydralisk upgrade? Not quite. It's almost done. So Cole can attack pretty much at any point after that's done. But he hasn't sniped any siege tanks yet. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 that Terror have are going to be rather hard for the Hydralisk to get past. Especially considering that he's going up a ramp to some extent, through a choke to some extent. Ooh. Flying over the path. Terror needs to bring a siege tank. Or at least not leave it there, where it's like the most casual position possible. Yeah. Cole knows that Terror is not in a position to do anything aggressive at all, so Cole's taking a very fast fourth. And on maps like this, normally a fourth base is a lot harder to take than a four-player map, because you have to defend, you can't defend two bases with one army. You have to defend each base independent of every other one. Oh, going for the snipe on a science special. And he's going to get it, but he used a lot of shots going out. I think he lost 2 mutilates, which was essentially worth it. Did he just snipe the tank? Almost. I don't think he was expecting to have to come around for that final shot. But it looks like he's going to get it anyway. Loses yet another mutilate. Loses yet another mutilate. These mutilates starting to get to very low health now. Cole's definitely not going to be able to break anything with these Hydralisks. The mech army is far too big now. But if Terror doesn't figure out a way to move out sometime soon, then Cole's economy is just going to explode, and he's going to have the economy of 4 bases compared to just 2 for the Terran. With the main starting to get a little bit low, under 500 to pass. Meanwhile, Cole already has Overlord speed and is now getting Overlord drop. Interesting, he's moving his Hydralisk into a droppable position. We're gonna see some Doom drops with Mutalisk to cover it. Nope, getting replays for the game, but anyway, Terror not going to do what Terror does, try to do some vultures harass, but the Mutalisks are no longer attacking. He's now able to use Mutalisks for defense. So, assuming that Cole is on the ball with these, the vultures aren't going to be able to get too many drone kills anytime they try to attack. Man, Terror, really knowing what Cole wants to do, is laying down those turret rigs, but now also laying down the mines. Cole can't quite see it yet, but he will see the mines when he flies over with the Overlords, because the Overlords are detectors, obviously. But that doesn't stop some players from just dropping anyway, because they're not paying attention to something like that, and turning around and trying to flee out of there is almost as bad of a decision. But drop is done. That is a lot of Hydralisks. That looks like 7 Overlords with 4 Hydralisk each. I think one of them has Zerglings, but well, let's see. They're going to actually drop in a location that doesn't have many spider mines. Alright, spider mines don't do very much damage. They're not quite in the right position, and now that there's so many Overlords there, they won't be able to get any more kills after that. And this attack could be very devastating. Hydralisks take down buildings very quickly. Not quite as quickly as Cracklegs, but still. A lot quicker than a lot of the other units in the game. Now, these tanks are going to be very effective at killing the Hydralisks, but it's just a matter of they're so slow in repositioning that the Hydralisks can be able to kill a lot of supply depots before they get into position, and not to mention that there's enough mutalisks overhead that sniping is a real threat. Looks like certain mutalisks got a little bit too side-passive. Now there's no sea tank over on this side, so no, there's a sea tank here. Alright. So Terry does a pretty good job of defending, not that good of a job defending against that. He did take a lot of damage. Lost a good number of Goliaths and lost a lot of buildings. And here comes another wave in. There is one siege tank here, but the mutalisks can come in and pick it off as there's no anti-air support. So it looks like he's going to lose even more supply depots now. Also going in for an attack on the front, but Terror kept a lot of his units there. Most of the time the player can overreact when somebody's dropping there and bring their entire army to defend it. And most of it won't be used anyway, just because it's hard to get through the navigation of the building. And Cole wanted to capitalize on that by attacking from both sides where the entire army was out of position, but Terror only moving back a few units means that he's going to be able to defend his attack from the front. The problem with bringing up only a few units is this, when you are actually not killing off the drop, and the drop's doing more damage than it necessarily needs to. And here comes the next wave. There are a couple of defenses down here that's going to aggro some of the Hydralisks, but there's no defense around the defense, not even a good ring of buildings to kind of deflect the Hydro attacks, and the Hydros can be able to take out the defense pretty easily. Goliath's defense coming up from the other side are going to be able to secure that, but there's still 4 Hydros here. They shouldn't be able to do any more damage. Looks like yet more drops, but just 3 Hydralisks. And now, Kolll is pulling back. He has some more Hydralisks here, but I'd be surprised if he did any more aggression. He has done a lot of damage so far. Now, Terror attempted to take an expansion out here, throw the command center out, but he was pumping it out by Kolll, who has literally all over the map. And Kolll has very secretly taken a 5th base. So Kolll already has half the map, and Terror can't even get out of his natural. GG indeed from Kolll. Very nice team drop style play. He's just too much for Terror to handle. Boom, and that's why I said at the beginning, should be an entertaining series. Aggressive Terror versus aggressive Zerg makes for fun StarCraft 2v1. Well, that is it for this showmath. Congratulations to Kolll, who won, I believe it was $30. And thank you to Twitch TV for sponsoring it, providing the money to make that possible. We got some really good games, not only in this series, but in the other series and in the tournament. So I'm going to shut off the broadcast now, but don't go away.